So the first thing we're going to talk about is the slides, and you're going to see ID number. Ignore model, ignore teller, and ignore dialogue. Ignore all that for now. ID number, and you're going to see add dialogue front and add dialogue back. This is slide 0. This is just 0. The entire story editor revolves around slides. You can also think of them as frames if you want. Frame slash slide 0 is just the very start. Now, if we add dialogue front or back, well, front is, so this, I'm going to type A, and any dialogue you type, make sure you press apply. Because if you don't, or any change to teller, title, this, or change this to like garden, whatever, always make sure you press apply, because if you don't, it won't save it. Now, add dialogue front and back is pretty much, add dialogue back is saying, okay, I'm going to go over the next, I'm going to put this slide after this one, for example. Okay, I'll just show you. Yes, and then I'll put, okay, add dialogue front. Now, before, we had just a dialogue, we had hey and yes, but adding dialogue front is like going back a slide. It's adding the slide behind. It's really weird and might not, it sounds really weird, but pretty much add dialogue front, I now have a slide behind this one. Add dialogue back, I now have a slide in front of it. Simple as that. Now, I need to give you a few forewarnings before we go any further, because this thing makes me hurt. Story editor at around 50 slides tends to just break. It will lag, and if you want to click on slide like 67, for example, you can't click on slide 67, because if you try to, for example, let's say this is slide 67, if I try to click on it, what's going to happen is it's not going to click on that one. It's going to go like 2 slides past it. So I'm going to be at slide 69. Nice. So I have to click on slide 65 if I want to get to slide 67. And like, sometimes if you like add an effect to the dialogue, it would like skip a slide as well. It's just awful. Just don't go to slide 50. Don't do it. Forewarning number 2. Save very often. Save a lot, because I'm pretty sure this has crashed on me a few times, and I forgot to save, and it brought me physical pain. And the last forewarning I have about this is that when you press space, so for example, let's say, oh, maybe I don't want them to say hey. I need to put, okay, Angela, this space, it goes to the next slide, and it didn't save what you typed. So for all those reasons, all of them, I'm going to highly recommend you write your story and the dialogue and everything in Google Docs first, or on on Word, or in a journal. Doesn't matter. Just highly recommend you do it that way first, and write the story as if it was like a visual novel, as if you're writing it for visual novel slides. That's what I did. I highly recommend you do it too, and try to never get to 50 slides. Really, try not to. It's like I said, it kind of breaks and it makes things take 3 times as long. It's awful. So next thing we're actually gonna delete this. Now we're gonna talk about the teller. The teller is literally just the name. You know when if I press F2 again, that HUD disappears. You know how like right here, this like little streak right here, this very black ink streak, that's who's telling it. Like when Roland first appears, that's the teller. Roland, the title would be the Angela simp, A, B, whatever. And then this is a whole nother thing that we're not gonna get into that just yet. Garden is just like the place where they are. So garden, then I'll need to like put an image in the background. You might be thinking, how do we put images? I'm gonna show you. So we're on slide 0. I'm gonna add another slide. I'm gonna add a second slide just for later. Don't worry. And we're going to put effects of this dialogue is not defined. Click add. BGM is just background music. Background image is a lot. It's pretty. Now the ones that are in like this in Korean, I will translate for. I can't really use Google Translate. I've tried using Google Translate, especially for the names. It didn't really work, and I doubt it's gonna work for the background images. So in the link in the description, there will be a few links. One of them is to what these background images are. So you can just like go into Imager. It will be a link to Imager, and you can just see it on a second monitor, or just save the image on your phone. And it will also be for the characters, because all the characters' names are in Korean. So isn't that lovely? For example, this character, and you might think, actually we'll use a different one. might think they just flashed in and out. Where did they go? Well, see, the thing is that when you just select the character, they're not going to stay there. No, you have to click up here and then click apply, and then they stay. You select the character, make sure you click appear, apply, and select a different slide, and then you can just go back. It's annoying, I know, but it is how it is. It's the hand we've been dealt, and it's the hand we gotta deal with. And you might think, how do I make them light up when they will talk? Just click brighten, click apply, and click save. Save a lot, please save a lot. Position C is middle, and this is kind of explanatory. Or B. Oh. Emotion is different characters will have different no bodies. No, it's faces. Different characters will have different faces. So ego, smile. Some characters do, some characters don't. But emotion is not really like that. Emotion, it's best if I just show you. See that effect up there? That's what it is. Every character has that. That's universal. They're broken, which I know. So a bit of a cut here, because what happened is that if you select a background image, you can't go back to really none. Can't do that. You have to, so for example, I select this background image. Let's say this is the wrong image. Save file. I select Dawn Office 1. Save file. Oh crap, that's not the image. I wanted Tom Mary 1-2. Sometimes it won't properly change. Or maybe you don't want that image. You want to go back to none. You can't go back to none. You have to select none, save file, end story, and quickly load it back up. Next up, we have background music. The way this works is best if I just show you. Fantasy Studio, Autopsy. It's not going to be any music playing. BGM setting, right below it, play. You'll hear it now. And fade in is it's a very slight, kind of hard to hear fade in. It's there, it's just extremely faint, so you can kind of pretend it doesn't exist. Sometimes I can't even tell if it's actually there. I know most of the time I can tell it's there, but it's like, man, that was a very, very short fade. The point where you could barely hear it. It's like very quickly pick up on it. Sound effects are literally just sound effects. There's a lot here, and if you use 2, for example, so let's go evade and wake up. It will play both of them. You can use many if you want. You can do some different combinations with it if you want. There's a lot of good stuff here. It's just the problem is that actually scrolling through is just in the ass, and looking for one can be. And that's pretty much all of that. Background effect seems to not do anything. Nor does representative CG. I do not know what these could be about. I honestly don't know what to do. I've tried to combine them with different things. Try combining Pro with Pro, nothing happens. Try combining like Dawn Office 1 to 2 with Pro, nothing really happens. So I don't even know if it's working. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't. That's really the more important things covered. That's the first segment. Next up we have this. And I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue what this does. I've tried learn it, seeing what it does, but to be honest, I have no clue. We could even use these herb. We can go to like Zhao again, and like, so this is Zhao and this is also Zhao. I don't know why it says, oh, here's the model, when the model, it tells what model is there. I think all it does is tell you what model is in this slide, but it doesn't tell you, but that's all it says. But if you want to actually add the character and add the model of the character, you have the character. Why that's even there, I'm sorry, I do not know why. Another thing, background change and effect, I don't know what the point of this is. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't seem to do anything. Broken, you think it would like, you know that how some scenes, like the glass is kind of like broken in some scenes? Yeah, this is not what does it. Those are specifically images. specifically background images. So for example, I could go to chapter 6 Pro, right? But if you add broken, that's gonna like a broken effect. That's specifically a thing with the background image. Representative CG, I've tried. I don't know what it does. I know this sounds unprofessional of me, but I'm gonna be honest. I have no bloody clue what it does. Your guess really is as good as mine. I've tried adding like Pro with Pro. Tried this. Nothing seems to happen. So I know it sounds very unprofessional, but I've tried. I don't even know if it does anything. I'm going to keep it real. I don't know if it even works. Let's say you want to add your own OC, you add your own character to the game. Okay. Yeah, add the own image to it. If you want to do that, you need to click on add character. You need to first off, go to the file, and you need to go to whatever the file is. For example, and is this one? This mod in particular is called Chapter 2 Jopa. You go to the resources, you go to story stand-in, and you insert the file. Now I put Madoka Magic in here because it's first idea that came to mind. Just as an example, and then it should be at the very top. Now you don't need to worry about moving it to the right or the left, because you can just game can do that for you pretty much. I mean, you have to manually do it, but I mean, you don't have to worry about where it's going to place. It's going to be random. No. However, what you do need to worry about is the actual size of it. So if I go back to that folder, go to story stand-in. Oh, also it needs to be a PNG as well. Sorry, I forgot to add that. The size I use is 300 for width. That's about the normal size. And height 750. If you want to make them like taller, probably maybe 850 or maybe even 900 if you want to be like really tall. For height, and width just 300. Just y'all know what width is. That's what I do. That's the percent I'm gonna recommend you do. Start out with. You might have to change it a bit around. It sucks, but I can't give you exact numbers on what exact number is best. It could depend on the sprite, the character you make. Really depend. So let's say you want to add custom music to it and custom sound effects. Now, if you want to add custom music, you have to make sure it's a .wav file. And I will leave in the description a link below for Audacity. Free program, it's really fucking good. But when you have any type of music, or literally anything, it can just be audio, export as WAV, then you'll have the WAV file. Now, where you need to put it is in story BG. Go to your mods file, resource, PM. Now here's the thing. I have tried. Also, if it doesn't appear, you might need to have underscores and spaces. You might need to. Maybe the game just needs that. I don't know. But here's the thing. I have tried to add custom sound effects. I have. And I've tried sprite. I've tried sound. I know it can't be any of these two because these are skins and that page artwork. This is for images. Just for images. So I do not know how to add custom sound effects. I've tried an MP3, I've tried a WAV, I've tried both. It just doesn't seem to work. I'm sorry, when I find out, if I even find out, I will upload that. I will make another video quick on that. Quick video to watch, probably not quick to make. I've been doing this maybe an hour or two now. But yeah, and as you can see, if you go to BGM, this is the custom, it's not even music.
Hey assholes! Hey assholes!
That's not the point. You can play it as if it's music. The game will count as music. That's the point. So that's how you add custom music. I'm sorry I can't help you with anything else in that regard. But thanks for watching. I'm happy I helped you. Any constructive criticism would be appreciated. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the pack bite.